What's up, guys? Higgins in Japan here with another video for you, and this one's a little bit different than maybe most of my other videos that I've made, so just kind of bear with me here for a second. I need to tell you guys a little story. It's not going to be a happy one, but it does have some good memories behind it, and so I wanted to share the story of Matthew Pape with you guys. Now, about, I would say 7 or 8 years ago, I made a video about how I thought it was weird that in Japan you couldn't find a dozen eggs, right? They're only sold in a pack of 10 or less, and I thought that was strange. And I also thought it was funny because I had been living in Japan for a year or two at that point and had just realized that. And so part of it was me pointing out my own stupidity, and part of it was just pointing out the fact that, it's interesting that Japan doesn't have a dozen eggs when you go to the grocery store. And kind of out of nowhere, I got a video response from some random guy living in Thailand. He was a teacher, and I guess he had been following my channel, and he might have commented maybe on some stuff before this point, but this was really when I was aware of Matt. And so he made this video about how in Thailand it was the same thing, and how it was, how it was funny, and that kind of started a conversation between the two of us. And he would message me, holy cow, message me so much, dude, like to the point where I thought I had answered every question about life in Japan, I feel like, through just his messages. And he would message me a lot. We'd go back and forth and talk about, life in Japan versus life in Thailand, or, do your students do this? Do you mine do this? Is this a similar? It's kind of fun to talk about that kind of stuff with other teachers, especially country I'd never been to. Over the years, we'd always gone back and forth. At one point, we made a podcast that went nowhere. We made one episode. It was called Two Idiots in Asia. It was supposed to be this not grand thing, but we never really got around to recording a second or third or 20th podcast. But the idea was that we were going to be two idiots that one lived in Japan, one lived in Thailand, and kind of sharing our stories and expertise on life in a foreign country. And unfortunately, that never went anywhere. I think what happened was we would just talk offline, and so our talking offline could have been recorded and could have been put up as a podcast, but it never happened. But needless to say, I had been going back and forth with him for a long time, and he'd been messaging me all the time. And to say that I've had a busy year this year is kind of a cop-out, I feel. I feel like I could have been, I'm not going to go, I could have been a better friend to him or anything like that. But I didn't realize, because of my busyness and my planning for the summer and my just short-sightedness, I hadn't even realized that he'd gone back to the States, and hadn't even realized that he was in the hospital, and didn't even realize that on June 4th he passed away. So I kind of feel like a huge jerk, because I was busy planning for my summer and wasn't paying attention to, somebody that he definitely would have considered us friends. I definitely considered us friends, but I probably wasn't as good of a friend as I should have been, so I'll have to regret that. But I don't want to make this all about me, which it has already been all about me for the past 5 minutes. But Matt was a really great guy. He was funny. Like, I consider myself to be funny, but he always had jokes. Insightful. He was a kind person. Like, you meet people online, or you meet people through YouTube or Twitter, and there's this persona of who they are on screen and who they are behind the camera. And I never got that with Matt. I never got that he was like two different people, or never got that he was somehow putting on for the camera, or and I'll link to his channel in the description below. You can go and watch his videos about his life in Thailand, because it was just him in Thailand, kind of like what I do. And I think that's why we connected. We weren't trying to like do anything crazy or make the country that we live in into this thing that it's not. Like, I don't live in downtown Tokyo, so why would I make my videos that, like, this is my experience, right? And that was kind of that's why I liked his channel, because it was just a guy living in Thailand and his experience, right? There was no fluff, there wasn't any reason to. And he never came across as a person that I was like any different, no matter the situation. And so, unfortunately, he passed away back in the States back in June, and I didn't realize and didn't find out until about a week ago. And so, rest in peace, Matt. You were a great guy. Hopefully see you again. And something that his sister posted, I believe it was his sister, posted on Facebook, is to go out and do a good deed in honor of Matt. So I challenge all of you guys watching this to do the same thing. Go out there and do something nice for somebody else. And yeah, I'll see you in another video. Hopefully we'll be slightly more pleasant vibes. And I'll check you later. See ya. Peace.